Good afternoon and welcome to Continuing the Conversation, the Surface Navy Association series, where we have conversations with award winners, interest groups, and those that are participating here at the 34th Annual Symposium in Crystal City, as well as those that are supportive or connected to our Surface Navy. And I couldn't be more excited than to have these two gentlemen on to talk about, well, I'm going to let them talk about it. So with me today is Rear Admiral retired Mike Shatynski, the chairman of the board of the National Museum of the Surface Navy, and Jonathan Williams, the president and CEO. So gentlemen, welcome, and let's talk Surface Navy Museum.
Let's do it.
Welcome aboard. So I'm going to start, Jonathan, what's new on the Battleship Iowa?
Well, what's not new is COVID. But to be honest with you, it's been an incredible couple years, JoAnn. And, we got shut down by the COVID pandemic, obviously. And luckily, we're a real diverse organization with veterans, military and veterans programs, education programs, first responder training, disaster response. We immediately sprung into action on the disaster response side with the Mercy mission that came into LA and supporting that with the city and the port and the Navy. And then, really spun up a military and veterans program over the past year and a half. We are probably one of the most busiest veterans nonprofits in LA right now. We have 10 peer-to-peer counselors, including a mental health professional, that's helping veterans with their programs, benefits, services, and now we're starting to go into the DoD SkillBridge side. So I'm sure we got some listeners that may be looking at SkillBridge. I can't take on a ton of them at this point, but we are definitely doing SkillBridge. But on the visitation side, we did see a drop about 70% during the pandemic. We've rebounded. We're still down about 25 or 30% in our attendance, but we kind of morphed into some add-on quality tours, telling stories about those that served on board, getting more in-depth in engineering, gunnery, the President's cabin, really showing what the ship's about and the iconic Surface Navy ship that it is to the public, and broadening our horizon. And thankfully, our revenue was only impacted about 30% during the pandemic, where a lot of the tourism attractions and museums are down about 90%. So we're such a diverse institution. We're a community platform. We're out ahead on the Museum 2040, and we believe the Surface Navy Museum aboard the Battleship Iowa is definitely going to be one of the most visited Navy museums in the nation. It's going to be out in advance with the experience and the immersive experience it's going to provide to our public.
So I'm just so excited about the museum and the battleship and the history and everything that you can learn in just one visit. But can we still visit in person, online, either one? How do we find out about that?
Both you can do that. Being open 10 years, we're already a top 5 in-person museum in Los Angeles. But we really started to look at how do we broaden our impact. Look, this is a national museum we're going. We now have a congressional designation, not only the license from the name, but the congressional designation naming us as such. And so this is our nation's museum. This is our Surface Navy's museum. And that's not LA's museum, that's not San Diego's museum, it's across the country. So we're moving in the virtual front. We have virtual tours already of the Iowa, but this year we're building a virtual museum of the Surface Navy that we're beginning that work later this year to be able to really include everybody in that and expand the horizons. One of the great things during the pandemic is we also did some virtual engagements with some retirement homes, nursing homes, and different communities across the country, Boy Scout groups, field trips, those types of things, and really broaden our reach and our impact. So it's exciting to see. You could do it either or, virtually, in person. But look, in person, you can't beat it. You interact with the crew on a 9-to-1 ratio volunteer. Our crew is passionate. They love the ship. They'll show it. You'll experience it. You'll hear all the stories and really see it firsthand.
And I understand you can get a really good hot dog on board.
Oh, Vicky's Hot Dogs. I got to give a shout out. I know we're the Surface Navy Association, but the Navy Supply Corps Foundation helped underwrite the cost to build Vicky's doghouse. And Vicky, of course, is our mascot from the 1940s, the dog that was on board. Really not a great dog. It got knocked down a couple rates because it took off into Long Beach, got into a couple fights.
But a true sailor.
Yeah, a true sailor, a World War II sailor of all things. So we've got Vicky's story, and we're keeping it alive in a kid's scavenger hunt. And decided to call it the Vicky's Doghouse, which is a gourmet hot dog stand, wonderful hot dogs. Only eat one. If you come on board, don't eat two, trust me. Well, I've seen a number of people try it. Eat one because it's filling. It's a large hot dog with some great sides and really good food. And I got to give a shout out to Surface Navy veteran Mike Hess, who has Hess Brewing in San Diego. I'm sure we've got some Surface Navy folks here on listening. Hess Brewing, we got Steel Beach beer on tap at Vicky's Doghouse. Come enjoy the port, sit on the side, enjoy a Steel Beach and a hot dog, and have a good day out on the Iowa.
Oh my God, you're hitting my home right here, hitting the feels right here with a Steel Beach and a beer and a hot dog. So, Mike, why a Surface Navy Museum? Why the Iowa? How did that get started?
Well, let me answer that on two levels. First is that, again, I'm a surface warfare officer, and it's always bothered me that we have a wonderful aviation museum in Pensacola. We have 2 Navy SEAL museums. We have 3 national museums for the submarine force. There's a CV museum. Every community in the Navy has a museum except for the Surface Navy. And it's time. After 240 some odd years, we need to have a Surface Navy museum. And the truth of it is that our Navy was founded in 1775 with 2 frigates. The birth of our Navy is the birth of our Surface Navy. And we are a maritime nation. America seems to lose sight of that all too often. We're a maritime nation, and people don't know that 90% of all of the trade in our country, 9 out of 10 things that you will find around your house, are the result of the maritime trade. 99% of all internet traffic is under the water. So freedom of the seas is something that our Navy, Surface Navy's been ensuring from the beginning. We've been fighting pirates from the beginning, and we're still fighting pirates today off of Africa, ensuring freedom of the seas, which has enabled freedom and free enterprise throughout the world. And we're going to be building a museum that's not just for you and me and the surface warriors and family members of surface warriors like Jonathan, whose grandfather was a battleship sailor in World War II. It's for mom and dad to come on board, and they can understand that one of 12 jobs in Los Angeles is, and not that we're a museum just for Los Angeles, but 1 in 12 jobs in Los Angeles is directly related to the maritime industry, directly tied to the maritime industry. So mom or dad's job, there's a really good chance mom or dad's job depends on what the Surface Navy's been providing. And further, it's going to be a museum for their kids that come on board, because hopefully we'll inspire some of the youth of America to step up and serve. I know little 5-year-old Mike Shatynski went on board the USS Texas when he was in kindergarten, and that made quite an impression on him.
Wow.
So, yes, it's time for a Surface Navy museum, and we need to tell the right story so America understands the Surface Navy's story.
Outstanding. And what a great place to tell that story. So you opened the battleship opened for visitors when?
2012.
And the Navy's, the Surface Navy Museum is going to open when?
Oh, well, we're going to be opening our doors officially on October 13th of 2025, and you may ask why that date. It's the 250th birthday of our Surface Navy, so we'll be celebrating that date. And it's exciting to put it on board a battleship. I mean, when you look at the Iowa class battleship, it really is the most powerful warship ever built. And one of the conversations I'll have with my friends and family and others in Los Angeles is, why do we have this killing machine on the waterfront? But that's not what this is about. This ship was built in World War II to make the world safe for democracy. Americans built this, Rosie the Riveter built this, and American sailors took it forward, and they defeated the 3 most evil dictatorships the world had ever seen. And that's what this symbolizes. It symbolizes the American spirit. And as part of this, as one of the most powerful warships ever built and part of our Surface Navy, it just represents our Surface Navy and what it's all about. So it's just a great platform for that. One of the things we're doing by opening the Surface Navy Museum aboard the battleship Iowa, and we'll talk about how we're going to do that in a few minutes as we continue the conversation, but the battleship Iowa becomes artifact number 1 of the museum. And we're going to ensure this ship is on the waterfront telling this story for not just Angelenos, but all of America for as long as there's a Surface Navy.
So you have a program on board about becoming a plank owner. And can you talk about that? How do our folks listening, and how do we tell the story about becoming a plank owner, and what does that mean to be a plank owner, and is it open to everyone to be a plank owner?
Well, we want everybody to join, veterans and family members. It's actually a really simple process, and there's no charge to do this. Go to our website and click the surfacenavymuseum.org and click the link that says Become a Plank Owner Today, and then sign up, and really simply it's your name and your email address, and you'll be informed about what's going on. There's some other benefits You'll receive a plank owner certificate, a virtual plank owner certificate. And of course, we do want people to support and donate, but that's not needed. We want that support, but we want more than that. We want America to be part of this museum.
How exciting to have an opportunity to be a plank owner. You know, I didn't have an opportunity to be on a ship, a new ship being commissioned to be a plank owner. Mine were already, you know, in motion in that sea. So I'm excited about being a plank owner of the Surface Navy Museum. And so you mentioned donations. So to be a plank owner, there's no cost. But what happens if you do donate $25 or more, Mike?
Oh, goodness. And I'll let Jonathan tell more about that. But
All right, I'll talk on that real quick. So $25 or more will get you a nice printed certificate that will show up in the mail for you. And as you go up in donations, you're actually accruing some points. And here, middle of this year, you should be able to redeem those for different benefits, whether that's swag, whether that's visiting. You know, there's going to be different opportunities there. Even for our corporate sponsors and corporate donors who may really participate at a major level, they'll be able to do a free event space, you know, corporate meetings, client meetings, those types of things. And I think it's important to notate, JoAnn, this is a free opportunity. It's wonderful. But look, the big thing here is this Surface Navy community is the biggest community in the United States Navy. And if you just go out and advocate on how important this museum is and tell your friends and your family and your neighbors and everybody out there, we all know somebody across this country. We are all connected to people. We want people to know this museum's being built. We want people to know that the Surface Navy is important. And we want people to know that they can support that and be part of it, whether it's for free or major donations, because we have a broad swath. And I'm a realist. I mean, look, people are on fixed incomes. I'm not going to tell you to donate. If you can't donate, please take care of your family first. That's number one. But we all have friends and family that may have the capability to do it on small, mid, major levels, or even do a legacy gift or something. So it's important. Donations are important, but just your support and advocating for your museums just as important, if not more important.
And if I could add something to
Absolutely.
this too, and this is important to me, and on another level, is that by becoming a plank owner, you not just give us your name and email, and you can understand what's going on, but you can also input your service history, and we are creating a quarterdeck of honor where somebody can come on board the ship and query. It'll be a digital quarterdeck of honor, but the kiosk will be in a special area on board the ship near the quarterdeck, and and visitors will be able to go in and look up names and see that their grandfather served on the Missouri during the surrender in World War II, or whatever it is. So service members, our veterans can go in, service members can go in and put in their service history, family members can go in and join and put in their family members' service history, and it'll be there as long as we're there as a Surface Navy Museum to be honored on the quarterdeck of honor.
And that's at no cost.
And that's at no
people.
cost, yeah.
And that's, I think, a key note to, as Jonathan and Mike were talking about, this is a no cost to secure the legacy of, you know, your ancestors, your family, those who aren't with us anymore, as well as yourself, and be honored for your service. And I think that's wonderful. As we wrap up, though, and before we go, can you talk a little bit, you mentioned Freedom of the Seas. What is that
My
about?
goodness. So I'll let Jonathan talk about the event we're hosting annually now that celebrates Freedom of the Seas. But Freedom of the Seas is what our Surface Navy has been doing from the birth of our Navy. Freedom of the Seas has enabled our country to thrive. We have freedom and free enterprise as has never been seen before. And as a matter of fact, the world has changed radically. We were the first country to have this, and now you look across the world, and two-thirds of the country in the world have that freedom and free enterprise. And that's been enabled by our Surface Navy out on patrol always, every day for the past almost 250 years. So, we need to celebrate that. That needs to be celebrated, not just by us, but all of America. Jonathan?
So, Freedom of the Seas, we actually created an event that's in October during the Lady Gulf, around the period of Lady Gulf, honoring the Lady Gulf. Historic event, obviously. But in the Port of Los Angeles, I want to highlight the fact that it is the #1 beneficiary of Freedom of the Seas, what the Surface Navy does, what the U.S. Coast Guard does. We see it firsthand every single day, as Mike said earlier. So we created an event around that to celebrate freedom of the seas in honor for amazing individuals on a national scale for their service in ensuring our country remains a maritime nation. We're blessed to have incredible corporate sponsors. I'd love to see more defense contractors involved. That's a plug for any of those that are listening right now. We have several private industry side on the cargo movement side. And we're even going to expand it further on Fleet Week in May this year, Memorial Day, Coast to Coast Fleet Week, lined up with New York, hitting the media markets, but we're also going to do a senior maritime leadership conference right there in the Port of LA, talking about the entire supply chain from China to our homes, and how the Navy's involved in that, the cargo companies and the industries involved in that, government's involved in that, and how it takes those relationships to really be able to keep that supply chain flowing for the benefit of our nation.
Oh, that's outstanding. And I would offer for those that would like to see a little bit more about the Freedom of the Seas event, you can go to the website and take a look at the first event held in October last year.
Yeah, October 23rd of 2021.
Yep. And so before we go, though, I would really like to hear about your relationship with the Surface Navy Association and how that connects with the Surface Navy Museum.
Well, there's the existence of the Surface Navy and the Surface Navy Association and the Surface Navy Museum are just completely interlocked. If you look at our mission statements, we're both 501c3 nonprofits, but our mission statements overlap 85%. It's about honoring the past and building to the future, and ensuring those relationships and that understanding is there with the Navy, with the veterans, and way beyond that with America and our elected representatives. So it's just a great marriage of interests, and it's not just that we have two words common in our names either. It's more than that. It's way more than that. So it's exciting to be partnering with the Surface Navy Association as one of our founding affiliates, and we have other founding affiliates that stepped up, like the Admiral Arleigh Burke Association. But the best one is the Surface Navy Association. Thank you.
Of course, Surface Navy Museum, Surface Navy Association. So, gentlemen, as we wrap up, I want to give you an opportunity for a shout out. Who's your shout out to, Jonathan?
My shout out to my mom. No. I really have no individual, because, it's about the crew. For me, it's about what we represent and what I represent when I'm out there. It's representing those that really have committed their life towards a strong America and what we are in the future, whether it's our sailors, our veterans, or even civilians that decided to step up and do their service and make sure that that our veteran service is not forgotten. So I look at it, it's not about me, it's not about an individual, it's about us as a nation ensuring we remain free and strong and a maritime nation like we are.
Thank you for that. All right, you going to top that, Mike?
Yeah, well, yes. Yes, I am. The most difficult
His
job.
shout out was to America, so give it a shot.
Yeah. The most difficult job in the Navy is a Navy spouse, a military spouse. It's the most difficult job. So I have to give a shout out, and of course my wife, but all military spouses and military family members. We didn't talk enough about our three pillars, the thing that makes us so much different than any other ship museum, which is veterans, education, and community, and the fact that we can have veterans come aboard, homeless veterans that are now recovering alcoholics and working on board. It just is so impactful for me that they can find a home and live on board. It's also incredibly impactful for me that we get these underserved students from the LAUSD school districts aboard for a day of discovery to learn STEM. The Navy is STEM, to learn about the Navy and STEM, and even see the ocean for the first time. That's incredibly powerful. And last LA Fleet Week, where we bring aboard 250,000 Angelinos over the course of a weekend to learn about our Navy and understand what the Navy family is doing. And I think that's just amazingly, that's very important to me. Anyway, so thank you for the spouses.
I can tell. My shout out is to both of you gentlemen for making this happen, and your commitment and your drive and your energy for Battleship Iowa, for the National Museum of the Surface Navy, and, just as you said, Jonathan, for America, for veterans, for everyone to come and enjoy that history and enjoy that legacy, and now to be a part of it and step right onto that. So my shout outs to you gentlemen. and to the staff making it happen out there. Thank you so much. And thank you to our viewers for joining us here today and learning so much more. Please visit the website for both the Pacific Battleship at pacificbattleship.com and surfacenavymuseum.org. Please visit, look at becoming a plank owner, look at the virtual visits, come out and step on board yourself. And for those who aren't already a member of the Surface Navy Association, please go to our website and look at all the things that we can do for you, including the symposium, awards, scholarships. Make us spend our money. Thank you for joining us and have a great Navy Day.